Hello again. Every October, as Black History Month begins in Britain, Mary Seacole is trotted out as a marvellous example of the right kind of Jamaican, an altruistic nurse who came to this country to help nurse soldiers who were fighting in the Crimean War. This year, the Royal Mint has even issued a new coin on which Mary Seacole features, and the Mint's website has a potted biography of the great woman. They do seem a little muddled, though, about who Mary Seacole actually was and what she did. I thought it might be amusing to go through the information given by the Royal Mint and compare it with what Seacole herself wrote in her autobiography. I give links to both documents in the description to this video so that viewers can check for themselves what I'm saying. The headline to the Royal Mint's short account of Mary Seacole's achievements claims that she was a Jamaican nurse who specialised in homeopathic medicine. This is absolute nonsense. She used herbal remedies, not homeopathy. There is no mention of the fact that she ran a hotel in Central America. Instead, her life there is described as care work and humanitarian endeavours. Then we read that Seacole's biggest humanitarian achievements were yet to come. The outbreak of war in Crimea in 1853 saw Seacole relocate once more, this time to the Balaclava settlement on the Crimean Peninsula. This is not at all what Mary Seacole claimed. She came to London in 1854 for reasons that she made very clear in her book. She had invested heavily in a gold mine in Central America and was worried about the money that she put into the business. She hoped to arrange to float the mining company on the London Stock Exchange, which is why she came to London. She came to London for business reasons, not as part of a humanitarian endeavour. This is what she herself says on the subject. Soon after this, I left Escribanos and, stopping but a short time at Navy Bay, came on direct to England. I had claims on a mining company which are still unsatisfied. I had to look after my share in the Palmilla mine speculation, and above all I had long been troubled with a secret desire to embark in a very novel speculation, about which I have as yet said nothing to the reader. This speculation was the floating of the gold mine on the stock exchange. The Royal Mint piece then tells us that, despite approaching the British War Office and other government institutions with hopes of helping in an official capacity, Seacole was met with refusal. Well, the fact is that Mary Seacole was running out of money in London and she was desperate to do something, to find a job. She thought that she might be able to get involved with nursing or opening another hotel. Her mother had been a hotel owner as well. Mary Seacole had run more than one hotel in the past. As for being refused by the British War Office to go out in an official capacity, that's nonsense. Those wishing to be sent as nurses to the Crimea with Florence Nightingale were required to submit written applications together with references. Because Seacole didn't do so, she was not even considered for a nursing role in the Crimean War. This was nothing to do with her skin colour. She simply did not apply for a post. Instead, she put her money together with a man who was also going out to the Crimea, and they opened a restaurant for officers there. There was no accommodation. It was simply a place where officers could eat, drink and smoke. Seacole says nothing at all about nursing anybody there at the restaurant. She was simply serving drinks and selling food and tobacco to officers. She certainly went out to where the fighting was taking place, but that was to sell food to the crowds of spectators who gathered on hills to watch the fighting. She did provide first aid to some soldiers there, but that was a byline. The main reason she went out was that she was selling refreshments, food and drink to spectators, and to any officers who were behind the lines and could afford her prices. A passage on the Royal Mint website says that Seacole frequently went above and beyond the duties of a standard nurse and frequently made trips into the proverbial lion's den of the front lines to help those in need. During one such trip, Seacole dislocated her thumb after throwing herself to the ground to avoid incoming gunfire. Well, she did indeed make a trip into the proverbial lion's den. Here is what she took with her according to her own account on the day that she dislocated her thumb. The few hours still left before daybreak, we made the most of it at Spring Hill. We were all busily occupied in cutting bread and cheese and sandwiches, packing up fowls, tongues and ham, wine and spirits. It doesn't sound particularly as though she was going off to do any nursing, does it? She does say I also carried into the field, slung across my shoulder, a bag with lint, bandages, needles, threads and medicines. Soon after daybreak, everything was ready packed upon 2 mules. It wasn't long before our progress was arrested by the cavalry pickets closely stationed to stop all stragglers and spectators from reaching the scene of action. But when they found out who I was and how I was prepared for the day's work, the men raised a shout for me, and with their officers' sanctions, allowed me to pass. Here I found plenty of officers who soon relieved me of my refreshments. She was selling refreshments to the officers. That's how she was making a living in Crimea. The legend of Mary Seacole has grown so elaborate that there seems little point really in trying to debunk it anymore. But I am slightly surprised to see the Royal Mint promoting this rubbish with such enthusiasm.